तू चलता चल तू चलता चल तू चलता चल.
Good morning, everyone. So today we have with us Sarish Nigade from Pune, and he is recommended in his fifth attempt. This is his first recommendation. He had been screened out and conference out before. He has done his engineering, computer engineering, and he is working currently in an IT company. So welcome, Sarish. So please tell us. First of all, congratulations. Please tell us gradually how did you improve in this particular attempt and what changes you saw in yourself as compared to your previous attempt, because as you said that your previous attempts had been screen out plus conference out.
Right. First of all, good morning to everyone, especially Col Nehru and ma'am. So to start with, ma'am, from my previous attempt, I gave my CDS IMA 154 attempt in September, and that attempt didn't go much well. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong in that attempt, because I feel the major factor missing in that attempt was confidence level. Each and every test that I was giving, I doubted myself about if it is right, if it is something that the assessor is looking for. Right from the psychology test to the GTO, comparatively GTO went better, but the interview and psychology is something where I messed up to a great extent. So after that, I joined No Frills Academy because I had been watching sir's videos on YouTube for a long while. So I decided to have an interaction with him, and like till now I've had only 3 interactions with him, honestly. And in the first one, when the personal interview, like the interaction takes place, he told me that looking at your profile, you are a good enough candidate to get selected. Am I audible clearly?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. From that, what he said was that you have a good profile and you will do great in life. Irrespective of the selection, whether you get selected or not is another part, but you will do great in life. And that one line from such a big personality, an assessor like him who has worked in the system for so long, that gave me that motivation that if he sees something in me, then who am I to doubt myself? And that is something that changed my perspective. So after that attempt, directly this was the next attempt that I gave. And in the last 5-6 months, ma'am, I started working out on because I was overweight. So I would wake up in the morning and did that for 1 month, 1.5 months. But again, due to some reasons, I took a break. And then after that, I again gained weight. So that was a journey. Like when I went to SSB, I was back to my overweight stage again. But still, back of mind, I had that thought that it is all about my personality, my thought process, rather than my physical aspects, which I can work on and I can improve on, no doubt. Yes, so that is something I worked on mainly. And apart from that, in my office where I would work, I would try to relate and work as a leader. I would be the best employee possible, help the organization, help my teammates, friends. When I'm at home, I would help my family members in whichever way possible. So that is something I worked on mainly on.
This is the NFA philosophy. I hope that goes well with everyone who are watching us. Please tell us about the recommendation attempt, the starting from screening process, psychology, day 1, day 2.
Okay. So I'm on this first day, screening day, 59 candidates reported, and of which 24 got screened. So starting with the OIR, it was the first OIR set that was given was pretty easy, I would say. Like irrespective of how much you have prepared, it was very easy. The first one, I was able to finish it before time. The second one was a bit tricky and I would say time consuming, but there was ample of time given for it as well. So I completed just in time the second set. And I felt that the accuracy in the OIRs was much high in this attempt, because like maximum, I think I would have made 5 or 6 mistakes out of the round about 100 questions that I answered. So I feel that was a good upper hand. After that, we went on to the PPDT, and for the PPDT, the picture shown was a pretty simple picture in which some students were shown an outdoor setting, And I observed the picture carefully in the 30 seconds as sir suggests, and grasp all the details possible, and then form a story which will relate to my real life incident, like a final year exam in which the candidate, the main protagonist, helps the other friends give the exam and prepare well. So that was the story I made on. I narrated very well, and in the group discussion, I was like the PPT discussion, I was able to give good 2-3 points and help in formulating a common story and taking the group ahead. Irrespective of if they're listening to my story or not was not the concern. Rather, the group story is something that matters, and I was emphasizing on that and giving in points for the same. So this was the screening event. Then after, once I got screened in, as I said, 24 candidates got screened in, and then is the process of documentation along with that PIQ feedback. So I would like to add in that in PIQ, it should be very simple and to the point, I feel, very crisp. And if there are no achievements in a particular field, I feel we should write nothing over there. This was something I changed from my previous attempts, because at times what we do is write, because we are underconfident, as sir says in explaining TAT stories as well. हमें लगता है कि हमारी story हल्की रह गई. So that in some way is a lack of confidence. So I feel the same thought process applies to PIQ as well. That what will the assessor think? That I don't have any achievements. But if you don't have any achievement, I feel that we should write nothing over there. We should be, believe in ourselves that I didn't have, but I have the capacity to go ahead and have any more achievements. I have participated. I feel that is important. So I wrote only 2 sports because those are the ones I played well enough in my throughout my life, and wrote about the achievements in terms of helping the students. I have a YouTube channel, so I help candidates in academics mainly. So in the achievement section, what normally we do is write first rank, second rank, or the numerical achievements. But what I thought as a special achievement was that I was able to help many students in getting admission. So I wrote that in a formulated sentence way. So I feel that I was able to express myself through the PIQ as well, as what person I am and what achievement means to me. So that is something I would like to emphasize on, that less truth in the PIQ is much better, I feel, than a lot of fake inputs. Then coming to the psychology, I didn't prepare much. Rather, what preparation I would do is, log into the 10:30 meets on Sundays when sir would give his feedback on the TAT, SRTs and VATs. And I feel that was very helpful because the philosophy of sir is have very simple stories to the point and grasp all the details from the picture important, so that their stress, you don't succumb to the stress and write irrelevant stories to the picture. I feel that is a very major factor. So I wrote very small stories, and that helped me in my PPT as well. Right, there is 4.5 minutes, but I was able to finish my story in 3 minutes. I didn't feel the need to go on writing till the bell rings. I felt that the story was complete enough, so I stopped there, and rather used the 1 minute to read the story again. So coming to TAT, I observed the pictures carefully this time, because last time I felt I missed on that one. All the details that were there, and made a logical story. Nothing that is, a superhero fantasy type story, or something that I would do, or any a normal person will do on a day-to-day life. And that is why I didn't have the pressure of time, and completed my stories well within 4.5 minutes that we are required to. For the 12th picture, normally it is suggested that we prepare the final story, but I had a basic theme in my mind, so I just went ahead and wrote on that theme, because preparing, like, I'm very poor at remembering things and writing it down as they are. So I went with the flow and wrote theme as I felt at that moment. Then after coming to VAT, as sir mentions that the sentences should be short and crisp. Like, you should be able to express in 3 to 4 words, I feel. So that is a very important thing, because that helps in preparing for the next word, and we are able to tackle the next word. If we go on writing big sentences, there are chances that we miss out on some words. So I did focused on that. And also sir says that don't focus on do's, don'ts, always, never. Whatever I thought looking at the word, I just wrote it. Like, there was words like obey, disobey. So I think that you should always obey elders. I wrote simply that always obey elders. Again, second word that appeared in this set was disobey. So I wrote never disobey elders. Like that is something that clicked to me again. So I wrote it again, like irrespective of what I have written before, what will the assessor think? That was not my thought at all. So this is how my VAT went, ma'am. For SRTs, sir mentions clearly that you should attempt many SRTs, like minimum 40 is the number of 45, because that shows your quickness. At first, I was of the thought process that less is better quality and that, but I got that's what sir is trying to say is very right. And that is why I focused on the number of responses as well. So what I would do is have to make choices between the SRTs. If there are some which require a lot of actions to be involved, like there is an accident, then I would emphasize on all the actions that take place. But if there are some which can be replied in or responded in just one sentence, then I would write it, irrespective of writing many big responses to every sentences or every situation. So that is something I went ahead with. Like there was a situation where it is said that friend hits the main like your friend hits you. So I wrote what my response would be. My response would be, it would be like I would hit him back and then tell him, let's not take to violence. So that is what my natural response would be. Whereas there was another situation which said that someone hits your father, a stranger. So I feel that the difference is the stranger and a friend. So that is the main difference. So I wrote that I will go with the police and then give him a strict warning in front of them. So, but like I was not of the approach that what will the psychologist think if I hit or no, but that is something I would do on normal basis. So I wrote it down. There was another SRT, like your car broke down while you're traveling. So I wrote that I would take help from the passerby, because I imagine that there is something just an electrical problem or some small issue which others can help because they have knowledge at that time. So in these way, I answered in small crisp answers as well. And if there are big responses that are required, I gave those. And as I said about the in the self description again, I didn't write prepare it beforehand. Just I went to the article that is given by sir in the book. So I had kind of points in my mind what all I want to highlight of myself, and the weaknesses that are there in me majorly that my parents think, my colleagues and employer thinks. So I wrote it down at that moment, whatever I felt was the best. I feel that preparing before might help, but for me, I wanted to be as natural and relaxed throughout the process, because it is overall a personality, assessment. So preparing beforehand and displaying over there, I feel it might be the same at the end. So that is how my psychology test went. Then after coming to the GTO experience, the GEDs were on two topics mainly. The first was the factors for growth in India. Like what is the main factors that will harness growth in India. So there was three leads: agriculture, technology, and infrastructure. So majority of the candidates in my group were of the sort thought that technology and infrastructure is the only thing that should go ahead. So no one was taking on agriculture. So I just asked them, gentlemen, I think agriculture is the one, and what are your thoughts on it? So in this way, I was trying to just get their ideas, try to understand that. In this case, ma'am, the NFA group helped me because I participated in GDs. Very few, 1 or 2 GDs I was able to participate in. But during the process, I was not, the topic which was the main topic, I was not able to give in any inputs because I was not updated on that current affairs topic. So what feedback I got from the members was that you should focus on taking points from others and then formulating your own point and help the group move ahead. That is important than giving in your own inputs. So this is how I, performed in GD. The second topic was what is a bigger threat to humanity? Is it nuclear, pandemic, or natural disaster? So again, almost all were of the thought that pandemic and natural disasters are to be talked of. So 5-10 minutes the discussion went on pandemic versus natural disaster, but then no one was talking about nuclear. So I put forth my points, and when I did that, all of the 6-7 members in the group were against me. So I was one against all of them. So I had to give in more logical points, and then slowly and steadily, try and convince them, and also got convinced with their points. So GD, I feel, is a normal discussion that takes place between the friends, that how the instructions are given. That is something that we should follow. Also, one point I missed out earlier was when the psychologist sir gave the briefing before the starting of the test. One important word that he very clearly mentioned is, when I say your pen down, you should put your pen down irrespective of how many SRTs, how many VATs you have done, and do not look back. Follow the instructions clearly, because in armed forces, an order is something that you should follow. We focus on loyalty and honesty to the most important height. So I feel that there are 15 OLQs that are mentioned, but the 16th golden OLQ is honesty and loyalty. That I clinged on throughout the process. And something I would like to say, that if they are saying that stop the pen, stop it. Whatever the instructions are given throughout the process of the testing, I feel that we should listen to them carefully and follow them to the point. And that is something that will help in a much better way. Then talking about the group planning exercise, ma'am. So there was a basic plan. It was not much complicated. Again, normally, as it is mentioned, that 4 problems, 4 solutions. That is something, that is how it was. So I wrote my plan, and we started with the discussion. Normally, as we expect that all were giving their input. So what I tried to do was, during the GP, I presented my plan, as in, gentlemen, I think the time is so and so, then we can divide the team in 4 groups, and 2 of us will reach there till so time and that time. So I mentioned the plan completely, what I thought in terms of timings. So what that did was, everyone was able to listen to me and understand the plan, and we were able to form inputs, as in others would say that I think that point should be mentioned, we should go there by that time. So I would take in that input from them. Okay, gentlemen. So, and I would revise the plan again and again and again, reiterate from their inputs, and then finally coming to the conclusive plan again. So as a result, the group found me good enough to narrate the plan at the end, and I was able to narrate the plan. Then after I'm coming to PGT, I gave the ideas, but I was standing a bit behind. I feel I was not the ones rushing ahead. So there were some candidates who were very eager on taking the material and going ahead, very far ahead. So when they were stuck at a point, I was telling them that, gentlemen, please try this idea, please try that out, listen to. But they were of the thought that no, we have this idea and we want to implement it. So I tried telling them 3-4 times, but they were not ready to listen. So in that case, I feel that we were struggling as a group in that situation. Like, there were multiple ideas, but we were implementing very less, and that the GTOs are also pointed out very well, that you, rather than just formulating ideas, I think you should apply those, and that will help you in a much better way. So for PGT, I feel that I could have done much better if I would have stepped ahead and taken the material in my hand and helped implement the ideas, rather than just giving ideas from the behind. Then when we came to HGT, half group tasks, so it was a pretty easy HGT, and the half group was also very cooperative and very good in that sense. We were all able to give ideas and solve the problems. So there was different paths that were asked of us. The difficulty levels were changed. If that is blue, the colors are changed and all those things, and we were able to solve the HGTs very well. Then was the group obstacle race, as we know, and I helped the members run along. As I know that I was the heaviest of the group, when the tall wall was there, I told everyone, gentlemen, please push me up first, because I being the heaviest, it might be difficult for me to, cross the wall. I think that is, I don't know if that is something that everyone would, follow, because I think that is something I felt at that moment was right, because I being the heavy, that it would be a struggle for the entire group, because they would have to wait for me. So I told them, not being shameful of the fact that I am overweight, gentlemen, so please push me up. So I took help from them, and they helped me. I was fortunate to my teammates for that. The group was very cooperative in that sense. And after I was on the wall, I helped the others cross across. So the group obstacle race went very well throughout. Then was the lecturate. And ma'am, the topics that were given to me were driverless car, or ISRO, or CDS General Bipin Rawat. So I chose driverless car because I have come from computer engineering background. So I thought that there were multiple points that I would speak on in the terms of technology and other aspects. So I first of all started off by formulating what I would speak on. I told that to the my group, and then started off with the points. I felt that the timing was not exactly 3 minutes, rather it was more and more. Like I was out of points, but the GTO sir didn't ring the bell. So I was again trying to come up with more and more ideas of, at that moment spontaneously, connecting the concept of driverless car with India, with overall normal day-to-day life, and make it as relatable and simple as possible. And at the end, after he rang the bell, I just concluded my topic. So I went the lecture it well, very, very well. After that, when I asked the group, they were of the thought that yes, you did it, express very well in that sense. In the individual obstacles, ma'am, I usually prefer to start with the number 10 Tiger Leap, because it is very much strenuous on your hands. And what I think is, if every obstacle has a point, then you get 10 points in 5 seconds. That is the logic I go with. And also it is a bit difficult for some. There is a fear of jumping. So I just went ahead and do it in within 5 seconds. So you're done with the Tiger Leap. And then I went with all the other obstacles. Was able to complete 10 obstacles within the time. And then before the command task, the GTO sir asked me about coaching, if I had done any coaching or that sort. So I told him frankly that I had been to a coaching earlier last year, and then I have joined No Frills Academy as well in September. So he asked me what was the reason, what all differences did you see? I told him everything that has taken place, how the interaction with Col Nehru has helped me, and how this attempt is different than the others. He asked me. I didn't give him any fake answers. Whatever was true, I told him. And then the command task I felt was a bit easy and moderate. Like that was not very much difficult. It was a PGT kind of task, and all the cantilevers were very visible. So I just took my group and we crossed across, and no difficulty was increased, no path was changed. So I was a bit disappointed after the command task, feeling that maybe I am out from the process. But still I was like, let's not lose hope till the process is completely over. For the FGT, as we know, was kind of a formality, because our command task took place in the evening, late evening. So it was way dark, and that's why it was just a small task that we had to do, and we were able to do it very well. So this is how the group task went well. And as I mentioned, after the command task, I was a bit disappointed. I felt that I have done very poorly this time again, and I might have to work harder or else look up to some other career options now. Because this was the attempt that I have given my full in, and still if I'm not able to clear, I feel that there is something majorly lacking. And I had the interview on that day itself, the third day. So and the interview was very normal. From the starting itself, the interviewing officer told me that this won't be a regular interview that takes place. This will be just a conversation. And as Nehru sir mentions, that it should be like a friendly talk with a friend, and that your posture or your composure should be as of the thought that you are watching a movie. That alertness should be also there, but a bit relaxed as well. So I was in that sense, and no CIQs were asked. It was just a friendly conversation, as sir mentioned, the interviewing officer. He asked me about the structure, how the management in my office is, the structure of my company, how the workflow is, what all work do I have, my colleagues, how I interact with them, how are my seniors, all those were asked. Then I wrote guitar as my hobby, so he asked me about the principle that works, that the guitar works on. He also gave me a bit of hint, because I wasn't able to give the answer in the first week go. So he gave me hint in that sense. And then he asked me about the trek, what all previous trek experience I've done. Then I told him that I go and treks with my friends. So he asked me, how are your friends in that? How was your friends' experience? Like, did you manage your treks? How did you plan the treks and all those things? Then talking about the family, then do you help your family members, your sister, your father in different aspects? These are the normal questions that we have all heard of. And I prefer not to prepare on these questions beforehand, and rather be as candid and true to the questions as possible, so that he gets to see the original personality that I am, rather than trying to fake in the interview. I feel that would have some way been a drawback for me if I would try to fake. And the interviewing officer is an expert in this. He sees everything, he knows that you are faking, and still he'll make you sure that no, I'm listening to your whatever you're saying. So we feel that we are winning in that case, but actually we are losing, I feel. So being again the true personality and being as honest and loyal to the questions asked, to everything, throughout process is something that matters the most. There were defense news that I was asked of, so I had only two news, very generally headlines I knew. So I told him, and sir said that these are very general topics. Can you tell me something in depth? So I said, sir, sorry, I don't know in depth. I haven't read about it. So he said, this is your casual approach. What is this? You didn't, try to figure out. So I said, sir, I'm very weak at remembering current affairs and news. And these two headlines are also the ones that I got to know from the candidates nearby. Rather, normally I don't, remember current affairs. So sorry, sir, I apologize on that fact. So he said, okay, let's go ahead. And he asked about army regiments. And then he asked also about why not take college out of your city, because I've done my college from Pune itself. So he asked me questions that what difference do you feel? Had you been in a college outside of Pune, so what difference? I told him that because I was at home, I feel that 2 years in COVID, I was able to be with my family, help them in ways. So overall, the process went smoothly. Again, he also asked about the coaching and preparation, as I've been through 4 attempts earlier, and this was my fifth, so he asked me about that. And I gave him the same answer about NFA, about what all interactions I've done. He also asked me if it is online, offline, where is it headed from. So I told him that yes, so and so are the details of NFA, and yes. So he said, okay, no problem. And that is how my interview went around 1 hour. These were the three tests, and this is how they took place. Now, if I'll talk about conference, there was a short break, a short waiting period, not the usual that others had, a bit longer than that, but not very long as well, like 10-15 minutes, not that, of that sort, just 3-4 minutes, I would say. So after getting in, there were the routine questions that were asked. And apart from the routine questions, what I was asked was, how is your this attempt different than the previous one? And what all difference did you find? So I told him that, sir, I feel that in the psychology, I was able to attempt more SRTs, VATs very well. That was not the case earlier. And in case of interview, personal interview, I was able to express myself fully and freely as I wanted to. But he asked me what is the drawback in GTO? What did you feel was lacking? So I told him that, sir, in PGT, I feel that I would have, taken up the charge and, led from the front, I feel, taking the helping material in my hand, and rather than just giving ideas from behind. They said, okay, no problem. That was the conference. And yes, ma'am. So after that, the results were declared, and out of the 24 candidates who were screened in, 5 of us got recommended, ma'am. This was my 5-day journey.
Okay. 5-day journey. Thank you so much. We were were keenly and attentively listening to you. Please tell us, how did the practical guidebook to become an officer and personal interactions with Nehru sir help you?
Okay, yes, ma'am. So as I mentioned earlier again, that the words from Nehru sir, that you have it in you and that you are capable enough to do something great in life. That is what he clearly mentioned. I remember that. Let us say that you don't get selected in defense forces, still you will do something good in life, worth remembering. So that is something that boosted me very much. And that was my first interaction with Nehru sir. And I took up to workout. I would wake up daily at 5:30, go on a run, improve my GK by reading newspaper and all. But as I mentioned, that took place for a few weeks, and after a month also, I left it. There was a big break, and then I didn't revert back to it. So I feel that is something where I lacked consistency. But apart from that, ma'am, in my second interaction where we discussed the psych responses with Nehru sir, there were miscommunication that took place. Like whatever was mentioned in the email by Nehru sir, it is very clearly mentioned. But I was in a hurry to read the mail and would leave out on the details, like SRT, suppose that we are supposed to give responses to. I wrote only 15 and stopped over there. Whereas it is mentioned that if the time is over, you stop there and draw a line or something like that, but complete all the 30 SRTs. So I didn't do that. So during the discussion, Nehru sir clearly pointed out that you don't listen to the instructions, you don't follow instructions properly, and you are not attentive enough. So I think he's properly scolded me because I hadn't read the NFA guide earlier. And when during the interaction he asked me, I said that no, sir, I read it very long back. So he told me, I told you to read it before this interaction, and you don't follow instructions at all. You're very confused in that set. Again, in the TAT stories, his response or his feedback was that you write all the happy, jolly stories of celebration of party. And I feel it was very rightly pointed out because that was the phase in my, that was the time when having fun with friends, going on parties or, outings and trips is something I focused on. But sir told me that you should do something worthwhile and, highlight that in the TAT stories as well. And that is something he repetitively told during the different feedbacks in the Sunday sessions that take place. It made me TAT, SRTs, VATs. They were not my responses, but others' responses and his feedbacks that, improved my thought process and hammered it down to the bit that whatever your responses should be, the story should be something in which you do something worthwhile, something worth remembering, something good for the community, for yourself, something better, and make it logical enough. These were the two, and from the picture, like grasp everything. So these were the 3-4 pointers that I took very well from it. And the VAT should be simple and grammar should be very precise. That is something he pointed out during the interaction with him. So after I got the scolding from him, I didn't dare to contact back because somewhat I was afraid of the fact that I was missing out on a lot many things and I don't know what I'll do. So I focused on my day-to-day life and personality and improving as a overall candidate, and overall employee, as a overall member of the family. That is something that helped me with. And talking about the guide, ma'am, before 1 month when I got the call letter that I have my SSB on 8th of Feb. So in the month of Jan, it takes me around 1 hour to go from my home to my office. So during the commute period, I would carry my book with me, the practical guide. And every day in the morning, 1 hour, I would utilize it in reading the entire book. Like not entire book, but read 2, 3, 4 blogs or the posts that are mentioned in the book. And that helped me very well because there is confidence, there is procrastination, there is everything, time management, priorities, being assertive. I was not that much assertive in life, but after reading that article, how he has linked assertiveness with confidence, with other aspects, all those things was very well mentioned in the book. And daily I would read 3-4 articles and that helped me very well. And VAT, SRTs, the articles that have been mentioned there about GDs. So that 1 month is something I revised or read the book again and again. And that helped me very well in, forming a clear idea that it is all about my personality. I should, improve my personality to the best and, showcase myself in that sense. And that would help me get through. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sarish. Now I give this to Nehru sir.
भाई अभी भी डरता है मेरे से बात करने में?
नहीं सर, अभी नहीं सर. रिकमेंडेशन के बाद तो सर बढ़िया से बात हुई आपके साथ.
Okay, very fine.
Yes,
तो जो भी आपको डांट शाट पड़ी, you took it absolutely in a positive manner.
Yes, indeed.
It all these things help you. मेरे पास कई आते हैं स्टूडेंट, वो बिना इंस्ट्रक्शन पढ़े हुए वो उसको जितना काम कर देते हैं. I get annoyed. मैंने कहा यार ये सिंपल सारा 7-8 लाइन लिखी है, उसको भी नहीं पढ़ रहे हो, तो that's show a lot of casualness.
Yes,
but anyway, so you displayed this casualness in the beginning. So overall, it helped you in life.
Yes, sir, it did.
You were
Yes,
not
sir.
casual. You listened to instructions deliberately और आपने काम ठीक ठाक किया.
Yes,
और
sir.
बात भी बनी.
Yes, sir.
तो सारी शायद मेरे पास पूछने के लिए कुछ है नहीं. It was very interesting listening to your story as to how you have, gradually improved. You have, picked up the things, right points which have been given, imbibed them, and which has brought about genuine improvement in yourself. You have been very open and frank and confident.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Been very open with the GTO and interviewing officer. Very good things. So as I said, in the first this thing interaction, कि तेरी बात तो बनेगी. You're a good chap. You're on the right lines. तो
Yes,
बनी
sir.
बात तूने डिप्स भी लिए हैं, बट वेल दैट इज हाउ लाइफ इज, चलता
Yes,
रहता
sir.
है, जिंदगी
हाँ,
में
sir.
परफेक्शन नहीं होता है,
Yes.
हल्की इंप्रूवमेंट और आएगा एंड थिंग्स विल वर्क आउट गुड फॉर यू। कुछ मेरे को बताना नहीं है, जस्ट गिव 2-3 मेजर टिप्स फॉर द एस्पिरेंट्स और द पोटेंशियल जॉइनीज ऑफ नो फिल्स एकेडमी।
Sir, so 2-3 tips would be the same as every recommended candidate says. Just be yourself. अभी till the fourth attempt I feel यार ये तो कह देता है be yourself, ये recommend हो गया, इसे लगता है इतना आसान होता है। But what I think is sir, जो आपने बार बार कहा है कि असेसर का बाप बनने की कोशिश मत करो. Don't try to be that person. Just showcase what you are. It is just like a normal interview process that you will do in any job. If you have the skills, they'll take you. If not, they'll not take you irrespective of whatever you try. That is something you imbibe on. That is something that No Frills Academy works on completely, I feel. That it is a personality test. So just be who you are and improve on a day-to-day aspect, and be as a good, competent enough guy. Be good a student, be it a employee, be it a good son to your parents. Just be the best you can. So I feel that is something that helped me. And as I mentioned in the PIQ as well, there are a lot many students that try to fake. अगर मैंने दो ही चीज की पूरे लाइफ में sports, I'll write those only. But I should know enough that let the sir ask me anything, I'll answer on those. ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. If you don't just do any sport, don't write it. As I said, less true is much better than a lot of fake responses in PIQ, right? It starts from there itself. And I think everything boils down to confidence. How much you trust your abilities, how much you think that you'll be able to do it, I feel, sir. Yes.
Very right. And I really appreciate your spirit in the group obstacle race, that you told the group कि यार मैं भारी हूँ, मुझे पहले चढ़ा दो,
Right, sir. Yes.
then I'll be helpful, otherwise मैं पीछे रह गया तो आप
हाँ,
लोगों को
sir.
दिक्कत होने वाली है. Very
Yes, sir.
right. A lot of people don't do such things. मेरे को भी याद एक बात आती है आपकी से, very interesting thing. अपने लाइफ में ह्यूमरस चीजें होती रहती है.
Yes.
मैं नागालैंड में पोस्टेड था इन डिस्ट्रिक्ट मॉल, और वहां पे हम एयर मेंटेन पोस्ट पे थे. मेरा राशन भी हेलीकॉप्टर से ड्रॉप होता था,
Right.
और वाटर से चलने के लिए इट वाज अ 8 hour वॉक. एंड इन
Right.
नागालैंड सम ऑफ द क्लाइंब्स एंड ऑल आर प्रीटी स्टीप. तो मेरा एक हवलदार आया था, he had come from NCC पोस्टिंग, तो अपनी 3 साल अपने ठंडी नौकरी बच्चों के साथ करते हुए, एंड सडनली लैंडेड अप इन नागालैंड. तो अब he was having serious body problems. अब 8 hours walk and carrying your stuff and all, which is good about 15-20 kgs का तो होगा ही होगा, इतना सामान तो होता है. अब
Right.
वो लेके चल रहा था. अब उसकी हालत खराब हो गई, तो वो लेटने का हो गया. तो I said यार ला मेरे को दे दे, I'll carry your bag.
Right.
I was feeling very embarrassed कि यार मेजर साहब will carry my stuff, and मेजर साहब is elder also in age. The senior most appointment in the company, और मैं हवलदार का उठा के पैक चल रहा हूँ. And I am also quite frank, and हमारे खालसे भी काफी frank होते हैं. मैंने कहा देख भाई बात सिंपल है, ये अभी ये तेरा मैं पैक 20 किलो का उठाऊंगा, और अगर तू नहीं चल पाया तो 80 किलो को आदमी को उठाने से ये 20 किलो का पैक उठाना आसान है.
Very ready, sir.
He said हाँ साहब ये बात तो आप ठीक कह रहे हो, पर मुझे साहब शर्म बहुत आ रही है, पर आप प्लीज आप उठा ही लीजिए जब आप कह रहे हो, क्योंकि बात आपकी ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
I carried a 20 kg bag for balance of the distance, and that is how we came.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, good. Fine. Yeah, I got nothing else to ask. So once again, thanks a lot, Sarish, and thanks all of you for attending and posing your questions. I hope you all have benefited. Chalo, take care, all of you. God bless. Bye bye.